So I think an ideal way to begin this presentation is to have you drop in with me as I'm helping Mary. Nearly 2 years ago when the Retro Tech Lab opened, it was a genuine thrill to see somebody watching her 4-year-old self have a birthday and some other outings with her family. This is one of 6 or 7 interviews that I've interspersed throughout the talk. And I think it's incredibly valuable to have a variety of voices tell you about our Retro Tech Lab experience. Don't take my word for it. Hear it from the volunteers and the patrons themselves. And tell me what we're looking at.
I'm not really sure what this is now. It's a lake. It could be something in Illinois or Wisconsin. I'm not really sure yet. There's not a lot of landmarks.
This started with this in your house.
Vacation.
And the desire to watch it, but not the ability.
Absolutely. This is from 1953 to 1955.
Wow. Okay. So you see, they didn't waste any space on something like that. So 2 years worth of family memories.
Yeah.
Off and on. And early on, it looked like it was in Chicago. And
I believe
maybe
that.
the Museum of Science and Industry.
Museum of Science and Industry. They had a little park at that time. They had a little park around there, and it did have a little train that children could get on, adults could go on, and for the look of it, we were treated to a train ride that day. How wonderful! So
that's great.
And this I can't figure out. This is not ringing any bells just yet. But
so this is a relatively slow process. This is taking scans of each of the 30 frames per second that 8mm captured. And at the end of 30 frames per second times 60 seconds per minute times 10 minutes. See, this is not a fast process, but it's going to yield something that can continue to offer delight and can be shared.
Amazing.
Through online storage or just sending somebody the file.
Yeah. So easy.
This is courtesy Arlington Public Library's new Retro Tech Lab, sponsored by the Arlington Genealogical Society.
Well, I really want to thank them. This is great.
As it turned out, Aaron had a very interesting request, and I will leave him to explain it to us.
My grandma recently passed away, and we were trying to figure out, trying to find my uncle had recorded some songs that before he had passed away, and we wanted to put them into the funeral. But getting audio cassettes, everything like that, it's not so easy. One little thing.
Right.
So, and my wife mentioned, hey, they do have that here. So we called up, set up an appointment, and you guys have been great. You've helped me get all this music onto flash drive and get on the computer. So it's going to it'll mean the world because my grandma, he'll be able to represent himself since he had passed away a couple years back.
Gotcha. So the uncle who's no longer here will be able to sing at the grandmother's funeral. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brought some of practically every kind of material. Vicki, can you tell me a little bit about Retro Tech Lab, what you've come to do, what it means to you?
Yes. The lab was a lifesaver for me because I had been sending my videos, VHS, all the way across the country to be converted. And it was very expensive, but even worse than that, it was terrifying to think that they could lose them or destroy them. So when I got the email about the lab, I made an appointment right away. Spent weeks and weeks here with Mark, and I've converted Polaroids, negatives, slides, and photographs, and VHS and Super 8, a lot of different things. But I think it was so much fun reliving my life through all these photos.
Yeah.
But the one that really got a hold of me was a video that I didn't even know I had, and that was of my dad. When I was growing up, I lost him when I was 16 years old. So when that picture came on of my dad playing his guitar, there were tears that day.
You're one of the reasons I've told people we have Kleenex in the line item budget for the Retro Tech Lab.
It was very emotional, and I'm so grateful, Mark, for you suggesting this and for the library getting it. I share it with everybody.
That's great.
Yeah, they need to come and do this. So Also, when this lab opened, it was the year right before my daughter's 40th birthday.
Okay.
She'd been asking me for pictures and,
Right.
So I was able to give her a drive with her entire life on film,
Wow.
photograph, and plus my life.
Sure.
So it's been a great gift.
I'm going to turn the floor over to Paul. Well, this again is Mark, and I'm here with wonderful volunteer Paul. I've made the case in the presentation that I literally couldn't do what we do here if it were just me. And Paul is one of the people who's not me, who helps extend our capacity. Paul, what can you share about what volunteering with the RetroTech Lab has meant for you personally and some things that you've seen?
Generally, it means meeting with a lot of individuals that come from all sorts of different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's people who are local, who know about the local government, and we're helping them with individual recordings and transcriptions. But a lot of the times there are people who are looking to bring forward their memories of old recordings that they've made. Sometimes it's of themselves when they were little children and they are looking back at, oh, that's me when I was 2 years old. And you're seeing their family and you're able to help them bring those memories forward. Sometimes there are other individuals. I'm reminded once of one of Sue's good people that came in here who was an older lady, and she wanted to make a transcription of some Bible recordings or church recordings.
Okay.
So we help people with not just family history, but a wide, diverse spectrum.
Institutional history in some cases. I think one of the things you were alluding to early in that answer is our city parks and rec department is getting ready to celebrate their 100th anniversary. And their marketing team has been using our services to digitize hundreds of slides and video cassettes and things like that will help them tell their story.
Indeed.
So some of it's family history, but it can also be an aspect of local history. And if you're an institution who's thinking about this, there's even some overlap where people will come in to record or to digitize Johnny's 8th birthday. Johnny's 8th birthday was at Six Flags in the 70s. And so now suddenly we have an overlap between capturing local history that we can put in our archives with a release and helping someone capture their family history.
Indeed. We also have a lot of different expertise levels of people who walk in here.
Sure.
Some of them are very adept at using Macintosh and various VHS and other recorders that we use. They're a quick learn. Sometimes the people are a little more forgetful, let's say, just like myself. And it's good to interact with the people and help them bring forward their own skills, let them eventually be mentored, and they come in here eventually and they can just run the whole thing themselves. So you get to meet a lot of unique individuals, some of whom are very precious and fragile, you might say, and some of whom are just, they want to get started and be off on their own, and that's lovely too.
Well, and some of the fragility that you mentioned, this is deeply personal stuff. And in many cases, the reason why someone is getting around to digitizing things is for a memorial service or an anniversary or something that it's not just like in any old day kind of thing, but it really gets to the core of their being. And even though we don't comment a lot on things that are going on unless they invite us into it, these can be highly fraught kind of moments, tears of joy and sometimes tears of, like acknowledging loss. So this is part of the Genealogy and Local History Room, which is part of the downtown Arlington Public Library. We're doing that on purpose. This is not a standalone kind of phenomenon. There are people who, in your zeal as a genealogy educator, they didn't know that they were interested in genealogy until they'd spent some time here with you, and it turns out that you sparked an interest that they didn't even know they had.
Indeed.
Digitizing video is done in real time, which means if you've got an hour of VHS, it's going to take a little bit more than an hour to do that. And that gives Paul lots of time to teach you why you might be interested in your genealogy.
So I will gently ask if they would be interested in looking at some of their family history and helping coach them along in that spare time while videos are playing.
Right.
And some do, some don't.
Yeah.
It's easy,
Yeah.
One of the things, by the way, you wanted me to mention in traveling and visiting other libraries.
Yes.
So up in Milwaukee this past week, I'll visit their genealogy local history area and ask if they have a similar setup to this, or would they ever like to, have they ever conceived of that. In Milwaukee this past week, the head genealogist librarian there was saying that she really wishes that such a facility existed.
Oh.
But the funding doesn't exist. The technical know-how doesn't exist.
Right.
She looked at it as if it was a big learning curve and funding curve. And it is, but with enough volunteers and enough good technical know-how of people, which you've provided.
In terms of the expertise, I'll often tell people, none of this is difficult, but none of this is obvious. And the good news is we've been able to develop the technology platform, the hardware and the software, but also we've stumbled through all of these workflows multiple times, so you don't have to. Nearly anyone with moderate level of technical knowledge could buy these things and do them on their own. And I was in that category for years. I had things I'd like to digitize, and I just kind of stared at it and stared up the learning curve and said, oh, maybe later. So this has been a real blessing for me, because now suddenly I have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, it became a doable goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally got
exactly. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate your sharing with us. So I thought it might be instructive to show visually some of the types of media that we can help you convert, particularly when we get to the video cassettes, because you can see it's not altogether obvious initially what you're dealing with when someone brings something through the doors. So we've got an Epson Fast Photo scanner that will zip through stacks of photos, give them meaningful names based on the data that you supply, do some auto enhancement, and all at a pace that you just wouldn't believe. You'll regret that you ever spent time lifting the lid of a scanner, putting them in one at a time, going through all that rigmarole. When we've had people literally do whole shoe boxes full in 1 or 2 sessions at the RetroTech Lab. Next to that are the negatives. You may not have the photos that were developed, but you may still have the negatives. We've got a negative and slide scanner to help with those. Not everything is a kind of AV media that we help with. A lot of times people bring in memory cards of various sizes and even floppy disks. When it comes to audio cassettes, this is kind of the size that you're probably accustomed to. But this was a size that was very popular in dictation machines and voice recorders and answering phone messages. I have a story about that coming up. From top to bottom, we've got the full-size video cassette that you know and love from Blockbuster and so forth, followed by the compact VHS. It's the exact same size tape, but in a smaller package, which allows this adapter to be used. It spreads the tape over a larger area so that it matches what the VCR is looking for. And then 2 of the smaller sizes that were common in camcorders. The Digital 8, which is the same form factor as High 8 and 8 millimeter. It can be confusing because they are physically identical, but they don't all have the same playback characteristics. And one of our lessons learned is that you need a camcorder. Well, you need a camcorder to do either of these 2. And for this one, you really want one that says Digital 8, because those are backward compatible through the other 2 formats of that same size. And last but not least, the Mini DV. And these were, DV implies these were recorded digitally. And you need a special camcorder, the same kind that these were recorded on, to play them back. And then finally, at this end, we've got both the oldest and the newest ways of capturing video. Short of the goal for all of this is to get you into a digital file. But as long as we're talking about stuff, as long as we're talking about atoms instead of bits as the carriers for this stuff, we've got 8 millimeter. The digitizer can also handle Super 8, which is, again, a similar form factor, but slightly different. And going back to the 1930s and 40s, people were using these all the way through the 60s and early 70s. And then finally, DVD. People ask all the time, hey, can I come to the RetroTech Lab and transfer my video cassette to a DVD? And my answer is only if you make me. We do have the capability of doing that. But what I'd really like to do is to wean you off of storing your memories on things. I tell them that moving from this to this is just moving from one lifeboat to another lifeboat. Neither of them is a long-term solution. And in fact, we have people all the time who come in with DVDs that were created and say, hey, help, I can't play this anymore. We got new computers since then, and they don't have optical drives, and we stream all of our videos online, and we don't have a DVD player in the house or Blu-ray player in the house. And so we can help with the whole array of things here. Now, there are some things that you don't see here that you might have expected. We don't have a turntable. Turntables are widely available for digitizing things. It turns out very few families or institutions have family memories that were pressed to vinyl. And so we've decided to err on the side of that line. And we mainly are interested in helping people capture their family memories and not take things that are commercially available and move them to digital formats. We also don't have a way to play audio reel-to-reel, and I'll discuss that in a little bit when we talk about future directions. But these are the kinds of things that we can readily help you with. There are always even other things. Someone brought in an old phone that had a very important voice message on it. And basically, if you can play it back, we can record it with the technology that we have. And so their phone couldn't play back through any of the wires that we still have, but they could play it out into the room, and we could capture it on a microphone and then digitize that through Audacity. I'm going to go now to interviews with LaDon and Elaine, talking about their wedding videos that they've rescued through the RetroTech Lab. And then cut to David, who has some very interesting insights. And then we'll move into the conclusion of the talk.
May was my 20th anniversary. My little one, I have a girl, so she was excited to see what do we have for our wedding, and she wants to just see how me and daddy was just look like. But we said that, oh, mommy, we have a movie, but that movie doesn't work. She was so disappointed and wants to say, oh, mommy, I want to you promise me. And then I'm just looking around. I went to the Arlington Library, and I just find out, oh, they have this kind of TV that just doing here for the people. Oh, I'm so excited to just go home to just look at it to my little one, because she just always asking, mommy, you promised, did you do that for me? And then I'm going to be so happy if she look at it and then knows what's the history and what's the family. And actually all the family, like my parents, love to just see this movie again.
Well, I've had tapes that I've been wanting to convert, but now I'm celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary next week.
That's great.
And this is actually a surprise for my husband. So,
he's going to be bowled over.
Yes. It's been so many years since we've seen this, and it means so much to me to be able to do this.
Fantastic. That was on a video cassette?
It was VHS.
Okay.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
David, can you tell us a little bit about what you've come to digitize and what it's going to mean for you and your family?
Sure. I discovered the RetroTech Lab through one of the other local branches here in our city of Arlington. And coincidentally, I had traveled last week to visit my mom in Florida, and I found some old home movies that were on VHS of our family trip to Ecuador in 1990 when I must have been like 7. I found some old theatrical plays I did at my local church when I was younger. And these are memories that really take us back. It is truly is an authentic way of time traveling. And it helps us appreciate where we've been,
where we are and where we're going and what we can share with the generations to come. So I highly recommend a service like this for the public and all our libraries, because it is, I think, a resource we take for granted. And once you see the footage of where you've been, I think we come to appreciate life in general. So I'd like to thank you, Mark, for your service.
Hearing Mary's voice was a great way to start, and hearing Amina's voice is a fantastic way to end. Amina has digitized a bunch of video cassettes. Amina, can you tell me a little bit about what you've recorded and digitized and what it's meant?
Absolutely. I am so grateful to the Arlington Public Library and their main library. They have this genealogy lab. They have so many resources in here. I had probably about 35 VHS cassettes, and I have been thinking about throwing them away. They are probably over 25 years old, and they were out there getting dusty, but I was so grateful I was able to come here, and I took all of those VHS tapes. I transferred them to digital. I have my own YouTube channel, so I was able to upload those digital moments onto my YouTube channel and was able to share them with my family and friends. They are totally adorable. Those are priceless. Priceless.
They almost went to the curb.
They almost went to the curb. If it wasn't for the genealogy lab, I just would not have those memories. They would have been lost. And every time I think about it, I would regret. So I'm so grateful.
You're telling me that you've shared this from junior high.
Yes.
You're not in junior high anymore, doesn't look like. But I can just barely tell that. But tell me about how people have been responding to that. So it's not just family memories, but you kind of extended family too.
Yes, absolutely. Some of my friends, I'm friends with people on Facebook. So because it's digital, now it's accessible and I'm able to share that video. Like I was able to take that YouTube video, upload it to YouTube. And so all of my friends, I have over 560 friends on Facebook, and probably 300 of them are part of my class of 2000 page. And so all of them were able to see and access it and watch it as many times as they want to. And you're able to fast forward and rewind.
And even if you still had it in a good working condition on video cassette and had a video cassette player, you can have all those people over at your house.
That's correct.
But now that it's digital, it can go out and be enjoyed and bring back memories for lots of people.
Absolutely.
Well, Amina, thank you so much for your time this evening. I appreciate you sharing with us what you've gotten out of this.
Thank you.